means fun in jazz?
Fun in jazz. He says, short answer, swing and smiling.
Yeah.
Swing and smiling. Swinging and people smiling. Shorter answer, life. Fun in jazz, life. For me, that's my life. So I guess that's as short as I can put it, yeah.
Thank you.
Or you said fun in jazz, I could just say yes.
We're here at Hotel Post in the center of Burghausen, and we're in the middle of the International Jazz Week Burghausen 2025. And for a reason, I coincidentally saw you last night, not last night, but yesterday. And we started talking, and I think we have to introduce you. This is Gregory Hutchinson.
Hello to all of those people out there in Jazzland. Nice to meet you. Good to be here, actually, with my good old friend, young friend.
And for all of those who haven't met Gregory Hutchinson yet, he's a renowned drummer, and he's like in the jazz tradition with a very modern touch, I think. And he's played with all the greats like Roy Hargrove, Joshua Redman, John Scofield, Diane Reeves. Maybe you can continue.
Oh, wow. That's Ray Brown. Let's see how, for some of you viewers out there who might be a little older, Al Gray. Wow, I'm going back. Red Rodney. I think I was fortunate because I grew up in New York, so I got a chance to play with all the masters that were alive. So Freddie Hubbard, Bill Hardman, Junior Cook. And the more that I go down the list, the older that I start to feel. So maybe I'll stop right there.
Okay, cut right there. How many times have you been to Burghausen?
So this is the funny thing. Let's since we're just talking, this is very. It gets to a point where you don't remember how many times. So I'm sure it's when you talk about Roy Hargrove and all these groups I've played with, I definitely know it's been more than 10 times easily. But that's the beautiful thing. You stop counting, because when I count, then it means that the years are going by. So I just, it's always nice to be here. And when you come to a place and you know where you're going because you remember, that's actually awesome. Like, I think I've stayed in this hotel. I'm not sure, but I think so. So it's been a long time. So it's a great festival, good people running into you. There's no coincidence. We don't believe in coincidence. Everything is meant to happen for a reason. So it's really good to see you. I love what you do. I love the way that you work. You've been my good friend for so long. And sorry for not being in touch. We got to stay in touch now. Okay? That's the reason. That's the reason, because old friendships, sometimes you go apart and they shouldn't go apart. So we got to keep in touch, okay?
Promise.
Absolutely. Me too.
From now on.
Yes.
So now, but you're here this year with a trio, and you're playing the Keller, the Jazz Keller in Burghausen. So who are you with?
Lawrence Fields and Yasushi. Great bass player. Lawrence, great piano player. These guys I played with maybe a year and a half ago. We did a couple of dates in Europe. Lawrence is a wonderful, wonderful piano player. I've known him for a long time. Same thing with Yasushi. And it's fun when you play with younger guys and you see the energy that they have. And it reminds me of when I was that age. Not that they're so much younger, but it is a different generation. And so we're playing with, I guess you could say we're the opening group for the session. So that's been fun. I think tonight I'll be working really hard, because the last 2 nights there was a drummer who was he wanted to play all night, and he just left yesterday. So tonight I might have my work cut out. But that's
so it's
okay.
your turn now.
I think yeah. I think it's going to be 11 to 2 a.m. Oh Lord.
So people come over to the Jazz Keller in Burghausen.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of work, but no, it's fun. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? We're here to have a good time, and so that reminds me when I was younger. That's what we used to do. We used to play all. You remember we used to play all night with Roy, And so it's time to go back to my early
Roots.
20s. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's a long time.
So we don't tell anybody.
No, we don't have to.
No.
I think it. Well, hopefully, I'm covering it very well. But no, the music keeps you young, And I think all of us involved in whatever arts that we do, yourself included, that keeps you young. So you don't really get old. You just I think get more advanced. You get more prepared for life and prepared for what you want to do to have fun. So
Since you're here with Lawrence Fields, I want to let people know that you're always up to something new, and you keep your mind open and you keep your ears open for other styles. And the last couple of years, you've been doing things with people from other genres of music. Maybe you can tell us about that.
yeah, I put out a record was it 2 years now? Yeah, 2 years I guess. On Warner Brothers called The Bang. So if you were in stores or streaming, I should say streaming because most people, there are no stores anymore. So if you're streaming, please stream it. And if you do happen to go to a store, buy the vinyl. The vinyl is really hot, but the CDs are great too. I just, I love music. So I grew up in New York City and I played all styles of music. So I wanted to do a record and I learned a valuable lesson. Young guys, I'm going to talk to you, young gentlemen and women. I did a record that I love to do that was like a project that, imagine you doing what you wanted to do all your life. And unfortunately, and fortunately, the music business is set up such that once you establish yourself a certain way, sometimes it's unforgiving. It won't let you branch out. So Miles was really lucky because Miles did something that we should all want to do. Miles created all styles of music, right? And at every point, I'm sure he might have encountered the throwback, like, oh, you shouldn't do this. But it was different then. Now I feel like the industry somehow pigeon-toes you into doing this. And a lot of that has to do with, and I'm going to just speak very candidly, a lot of that has to do with promoters and what they think. But musicians are the ones that make the music. So that album, I didn't tour for it yet. So I'm going to do my next record for Warner Brothers, and we're going to do a more straight ahead record and watch what happens. I'm sure it's going to be completely the opposite reaction. Oh, Greg, wow, this is what we were waiting for. Thank you. Which is, I just think people's minds need to be more open to all styles of the music. So,
Do you want to talk more about what's going to be, or is it?
oh no, we can talk about It's
Yes?
a great album. Next year, Miles would have been 100, I guess, right? So this next record is going to be a tribute to the drummers of Miles.
Oh, that's
So
a
Miles,
different perspective.
See, you almost okay. See, you gave it. So that was my first thought for a title, a different perspective, right? And I won't tell you what I arrived at, but yes, it is that. So essentially, I had to come up with something that said that, but also gave another spin to it. And yeah, those drummers, we're talking Philly Joe, Jimmy Cobb, Tony, Jack. Those are the main ones I'm concentrating on. And if you think about all the eras of Miles's music, they were the catalyst. Those were the drummers that really inspired the bands. And I think those were the drummers that pushed Miles the most. So Philly Joe, of course, those classic recordings, Steamin' Walking. Jimmy Cobb, Live at the Black Hawk, right? Tony, all the quintet stuff, which changed my life, actually. And then Jack, all like the electric stuff. So I think we have a good project. That the lineup is super killing band. Ambrose, Gerald Clayton, my good friend Ron Blake, and Jacob Bro. I always get the name wrong. And myself, and maybe a surprise guest singer. I'm debating if I need to go there, if I want to, but so far we're gonna cover all like very rarely covered tunes that Miles performed, and so it should be nice.
As you say, singer,
Yeah,
because Miles didn't do much with singers.
That's
he did
what
something with Shirley Horn,
exactly.
though.
He sure did, and that's what I think the whole concept to do something like that is quite adventurous, and I would love to. You know, I have some great friends who are great vocalists, so we have to see what comes about. I don't just want to do something just to do it. It has to fit within the program of the music. Of course, if that does work, Cecile is a great friend. You know, maybe I'll call my good friend Diane Reeves, or you know, or maybe give a shot to someone who's younger than and not as well known as the two of those ladies, and maybe someone else. So we'll see. Michael Mayo's a great singer, so yeah.
So you're going through the whole life of Miles Davis,
Hmm.
from the beginning and all the progress to
Yep.
his electric
All the way
years,
up to the
and
electric years,
also
yeah.
to Tutu.
Yeah, I think we might stop before Tutu though. I'm not sure, you know, because records now, there's, I could make a long record, of course, but records now are kind of short, which is weird. And there's a different concept. Maybe I have to talk to Warner. Warner, I'm just throwing this out there for you. Um, so you can record an album of 12 or 13 songs, right? Now, let's be honest, most people nowadays don't listen to whole albums. So why record a whole record? Why not record the whole album, but instead of releasing it at one time, why not just release a song every couple of months?
So means, when do you want to start? Because Miles's
Yeah.
100th birthday
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be in May of
Yeah.
2026, right?
Exactly. So, well, we could start. We could start before, or we could start then. You know, as long as you get it out, or you do one every month. But I want the listeners to get a chance to absorb. So I think if you just keep putting it out, I'm sure Warner's not going to go for that. And it's just a thought in my own head. But no, because streaming, everything is streaming, right? Ask yourself, anyone in this room, when's the last time you listened to a whole album from start to finish?
Oh, I do that professionally, so
But
don't
do you
count
listen,
me in
but do you
there.
listen to the whole album from start to finish, or do you listen to one track and maybe come back later and listen to another? Like,
This depends on how much I'm turned on.
okay, that's a good answer. That's not fair. That's not a fair answer. Damn. Well, I need her to buy all the copies of my albums. Let's say, you know what's not fair about that? We come from a different generation, so yeah, we would do that. Let's think about the younger listeners now, whose attention span, unfortunately, guys, is not a downer, but your attention span is not the same. So you go from this record, oh, I'm going to listen to this song, and then you go over to the next record, and then you go over to the next record, and very rarely do they listen from start to finish.
They are not used to having an album in
Exactly,
their hands.
that's what I'm saying, though.
Yes.
And so,
What is a CD?
what is it exactly? So that, I think that's something to think about. But you know, we'll think about that when it comes. I think just the process is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm feeling better than ever about playing the drums, the instrument. She is always very kind to me. She's been very kind over the years. And, you know, in this music, I say that there's not a high and there's not a low. You maintain this level here because everyone at a certain point, like in the 90s, it was just me, and then later in later 90s, me and Blade, right? So there's always someone new coming. So the point is, you just maintain your spot and you maintain what you do very well, and you welcome those coming in. So I think that's the point. It's like, I've been very lucky, very fortunate to play at a high level for a long time, so I want to keep doing that.
Talking of different perspectives,
Mhm.
you are an American who lives in Europe
Mhm.
and who's been here for quite some time.
Since 2012,
So
yeah.
you're based in Rome,
Yes, ma'am.
and what did you learn being part of the European scene?
Well, the interesting thing is, we spend our time coming from the U.S., coming over here, playing all these festivals, right? It used to be different in the States because they used to have more festivals, but there are less possibilities for those now. And really, if you think about it, the places to play, if you're in New York, you're going to play the Vanguard or maybe the Blue Note, right? Or Lincoln Center. Okay, that's three. There are other clubs also, but talking about concert halls. If you're in Boston, you're going to play the Berkeley Performing Arts Center. If you were in D.C. before a certain guy who's in the White House decided to fire everyone at the Kennedy Center, you could play at the Kennedy Center. But we don't think that's going to happen anymore. Thank you. So the number of places you can play in the States kind of lessons. So for me, moving over here was super easy. I was moving over with the intention of getting married. Before I got married, got divorced. Super cool. And I've gotten a chance to play with a lot of the European musicians who I already knew. So the only place I don't play is in Rome. I don't play in Italy at all. Not too much. I try not to. No. Well, you just shouldn't play where you live because they tend to want to treat you as if you're a local, and I'm not a local. So.
All right.
It makes life easier. I don't have to be the bad guy. I maintain everywhere else. So France, Germany, Switzerland, everywhere else, but Italy.
Gregory Hutchinson 2025. And we're gonna see how much the Miles Davis project develops. I'm very curious about that. But
Me too.
Yes, and we're gonna see and hear.
Yes, ma'am.
So, thanks, Gregory.
Thank you. My dear friend, always a pleasure, really. Always a pleasure. You got a beautiful smile still, always.